up, guys? We're live here. Dolphins blow out the Jets 34-10. Start early. Lead the game with the running game and defense, but I usually talk in the intro. I'm going to send it. We have Pinch Faithful's own Jason Starney live at the game. Jason, what's up, brother?
What's going down, fellas? We had a great game. Dolphins used the ground attack. Fantastic. Over 200 yards. Pure domination. Couple of turnovers. Great time. Great MetLife takeover.
Yeah. So, how first of all, how was the atmosphere there, Jason? I know we saw some pictures pregame with some of the dive bar fellas. And how was the atmosphere at the game? Seemed like not a full stadium and a lot of Dolphin fans?
Not a lot of fans overall. It was a good showing from Dolphin fans, but Jet fans were out of here by the third quarter. Some were leaving at halftime.
All right. So, give us your assessment of the game. They started quick. 21-0 as we're watching Dolphin guys come off the field there.
Jack Jones getting people up.
You go ahead. Take it over, Jason. Tell us what you're seeing.
Say again?
Tell us what you're seeing, Jason. You go ahead and point the camera to the field.
Right now, you got Chop Robinson kind of close to me talking to King on the Jets. Rasul Douglas was hyping up the crowd after the last pick. Jordan Brooks was hyping up the crowd. You just saw Jack Jones running, getting a lot of Dolphin fans here. Just hanging out, enjoying this.
Any chance you want to grab one, Jason? You want to grab it? We're going to do a channel, a news. You want to grab a Dolphin fan, Jason? I always wanted to do that.
I don't know, man.
I've always
contemplating jumping on the field right now, but I don't know if it's a good idea.
All right, so tell us what you thought about the game. And if anything happens and you want to point the camera and you can interrupt, but tell us what your thoughts on the game. They started early. Basically, the game was won in the first quarter.
Well, the great part about this is they rush over 30 times. They go over 200 yards. Each running back gets a touchdown. You know, Achane, of course, left early with what I guess was a rib injury. But Jalen Wright gets his first 100-yard game, his first score of his NFL career. And the defense looked great. And this is the formula. Obviously, the Jets are not a very good team. But the Dolphins and this fan base needed a dominating win, and that's what this was.
Yeah. What did you notice with the Achane injury? Obviously, anything that we couldn't see on TV. How did he look? Was he, walk into the locker room or just kind of did he go back out there?
You got Tua walking off. Everyone's
clapping
for him.
Okay.
But I noticed that Achane was walking gingerly with about 2.5 minutes to go in the first half to the locker room. I mean, it didn't look that he was very hurt, but you noticed in his walk that he was suffering from something, obviously. We can only hope that he's okay, but Jalen Wright took the reins and had a fantastic game.
Yeah, so as we welcome Finn Stands, and we have Sammy here.
Hold on.
So,
hey, bro. I tried.
Second half, Achane went out, but you talked about Jalen Wright, and I one of the things I want to talk about is the offensive line deserves credit in this game. Not only Achane, but you saw Jalen Wright get 100 yards on 4.5 a carry. Your thoughts on the offensive line play live when you were watching it? They deserve more credit than they've been given. They've really stepped up the last few in the running game.
Absolutely, they stepped up, and towards the end of the game, Cole Strange, Austin Jackson, and hanging out with veteran but not dressed Kendall Lamb. They were literally vibing and dancing on the sidelines. It looked like they had a ball all game. And look, when you could run the ball 30 times as effectively as they did, no one likes that more than you're on TV. No one likes that more than the offensive line. So great time. Dolphin fans are still here loving it. And typical MetLife takeover. People are hanging out, enjoying the win.
Yeah. So defense, Jason. It looks like Chop Robinson stepping up the passer. They smell blood, especially when Brady Cook went in. Defense, again, the last few weeks with Anthony Weaver. What can you say about them? I mean, that's also another thing. The difference between this 2-7 start and this win streak, and I think 4 in a row and 5 of the last 6 to me is they were doing things they didn't do. Turn the ball over. They were, creating turnovers, running the football, the game plan, because you clearly see when you put the ball into his hands to take over the game, he's not right. He's still not there. I don't know if he ever gets back there. But your thoughts on, you talked about Tua's performance, but first the defense. How did you feel the last few weeks? How dominant was the defense today, especially the pass rush and the run defense?
The defense was dominant. Get a couple of interceptions. Raul Douglas got his second in 2 weeks. Bradley Chubb got in on the sack. It was dominating. My man over here, big time Dolphin fan. Say what up, fins up.
What's up, brother?
My guy. Met a lot of good people here. How's it going? Be well, drive safe. But yeah, great stuff. Defense. Look, again, the Jets are not a very good team, but the Dolphins defense beat them up, and that's what you want to see. That's absolutely what you wanted to see. Weaver was in his bag today. He was enjoying it on the sidelines. Everyone was going up to him at the end of the game, dapping him up, hugging him. So this is it. Ground control and good defense, and the Dolphins are 4 straight.
Yeah, we got all of our guests piling on here, but we want to get to Sarny because he's live for the game. All right, Sarny, what's the record here? 6-7. I can't stand that. I cannot stand that. So
I love it now. I love it. My kids still haven't explained to me exactly what that means, but what does 6-7 mean?
Sorry, Anthony.
We're getting biblical. The Lord, right? It's something with the Lord. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, Jason.
I'll take it.
Anthony, we'll get to your question after Jason. We'll answer it on the panel. We'll get to your 2 questions.
I like it. I get here that 6-7 means from someone that, you know, the world was created. The Lord created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day, not only did He rest, but we kicked the crap out of the Jets.
So, Jason, are we thinking playoffs?
Playoffs. I think maybe. I mean, look, the Dolphins can very easily get the win total that they may need to get there, but they're going to need help. Yeah.
You know, look, I know I'm saying that obviously half serious, you know, but now look, I think as Anthony, he said, you're going to need 10 wins because the wild card teams in the AFC this year probably you're going to have to win 11 plus. Anthony wanted to get our thoughts on that and his other question. Let me introduce the rest of the panel. Jason, are you good to stay or you got to get out of here?
I'm gonna jump out. I'm gonna get back into my car and then I'll rejoin you guys.
All right, perfect. Sounds good, Jason. Thank you.
Everyone. I'll be right back.
All right. That was our own Jason Sarny live from he's still there. Live from the stadium. Let me remove Jason out of here. And bring back. We got our crew here. We got let's introduce a proper introduction to the postgame show. Finn Sammy from Finn's TV. Finn Stanza. Evan, I'm curious on Evan's thoughts on this positivity from the Dolphins here. And Lou, shout out to Lou. You know his show, Lou and Ash from the Soul Flow Sports Show. Fellas, 4 in a row, 5 out of the last 6. What does this mean? I want to get your guys' thoughts on the game in general. We'll start with you, Sammy, since I always leave you and you never get your points off. You're muted.
You know what's wrong? Now Brother Dan's going to get here as soon as I start to speak. It's Frank.
Go ahead.
Let me go quick. The Dolphins needed to win this game. We all were about 18. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Ribs are always bad for a running back, so that should be a worry to all. But we get an extra day of rest next week. Jalen Wright, you know, he saved the day because, you know, if he had not run like he did today, the way Tua was on the, you know, you can see Tua. We were waiting for the interception that they just had not had an interception all season, but you know, you can see it coming somewhere, somehow, but it didn't happen. But the Dolphins found a way to win. The win is not a huge win against a third-string quarterback that no one knew before the game. So it's not like the Dolphins got a humongous win, but a win is a win. And you know the Dolphins finally are 6-7.
Don't do it. Lou, what's up, brother? Look, what does this all mean? It's got to mean something. It's Dolphin fans the last few years, the 2-6, 2-7 start. Then we go on this win streak, and then we look at the opponents. But they do the job, 34-10. The game was practically over in the first quarter. I thought, you know, I didn't think the Jets really were going to even fight back. They looked like they didn't want to be there after the first quarter or even during the first quarter. Your thoughts overall on this game, though, and we'll get into more of the details of players, but like your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, you first asked what it means. I mean, it means we're one win away from being back to 500, which I did not think was possible after that start. So that's pretty impressive. You got to give them credit. As far as the game, and I know we're about to get into it here, but I like the beginning and I like the end. In between, not so much. I'm not, this is not the college football playoff where we have to run up the score. But just like we did against the Saints, you're up, 16-0 at the half, and you let them make it back into it. And that's got to stop. So, again, like the beginning, like the end, the middle, would like to see us keep the foot on the gas pedal there and really dig them down and not let them have a chance to make that a contest at the end.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. The second and third quarter was not a fan of. And in the fourth quarter, they went back to the running game. Again, you saw when they tried to put it into his hands, he almost gave away 2 or 3 times to get them back in the game. It's amazing. This is what Tua happens with him is sometimes he makes mistakes and throws like Brady Cook should have made, the guy who came in, the undrafted rookie, like in our own end zone. He clearly sees Jalen Wright's backs to him. He still throws it. It amazes me sometimes. And we'll transition. We'll get Evan Finn Stanza. Make sure you guys are watching. Come over to YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe. Hit the like. Dolphins post-game show. They win 34-10 versus the Jets. Again, 4 in a row. 5 out of the last 6. Evan, come on, man. What's going on here? Muted. What's that?
Sammy.
False start.
Sammy, it worked. Sammy, it worked.
By the way, I have to say we both got it right because I said Water will have a good game today because he has good games today.
Yes.
What?
Guys, I have a problem.
He's in the field.
I thought I parked
behind
my car. We're on the field again.
Okay.
We finagled. We're in the middle. We're in the logo. Oh, look who I got here. I got Finn Sasson. Look at this.
Hey. What's going on, brother?
I'm gonna make this up. Wait. Where else you getting this?
Nowhere else but the Finn's Faithful post-game show. Nice.
Oh.
Oh, that's all.
Josh, you need to get Jason a microphone for next time. Come on.
Hey, Jason, we need to get you a mic, man.
That would be nice. Really, boots on now, Finn shoes on the ground. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
No players on the field anymore, right?
No. The kids have taken over. There's kids from schools kind of enjoying themselves. Fans here, Finn Sasson's loving life as he should. All's right in the world.
Are you stomping on the Jets logo or no? We're not doing that.
It's not a Jets logo. It's like the Gotham City logo, but I'm dragging my feet. I can tell you that much. Right, man? Exactly. You know it. I'm kicking up bead.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Jason Sarney? Live reporting. I feel like a news anchor. Live reporting. Evan, you have a question? Lou, Sammy, you guys want to tell anything to Jason? Ask him anything?
Jason, the stadium. Go to the end zone, Jason. Run to the end zone.
No, that's blocked off. I think if I do that, I'm in big trouble right now.
The stadium looked really, kind of empty at times. The crowd, basically, a lot of Dolphins fans looked in the stand. How did it feel when you was being there? A lot of Dolphins fans, for sure. Other than the section with the takeover, a lot of fans all over the stadium. At least that's the way it seemed on television.
It was absolutely the case. A lot of JETS, sucks chant. And, the Jet fans had no counter. Like, on a season like this, when the Dolphin fans were having fun, they just had nothing to say. So we certainly took over MetLife yet again.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and all right, Jason, do you want to call us back when you get to the front, or you want to hang on to the whole show from the 50-yard line?
I'm gonna hang
all
on.
Right, good. I didn't know if you. How's the weather, by the way? It didn't seem bad on television.
It is a balmy 40 degrees. It is not bad. I know I'm looking bundled up, but It's not bad for December in New Jersey. I'll tell you that much.
So here's a point I made I said it on with Dave Hyde, and I said, the Dolphins struggled. He said it actually. Dave said it's not the cold weather. It's when the wind's a factor and it's the opponent you're playing is the biggest factor. This held true. But I said this style, this kind of new offensive identity that McDaniel's been kind of forced to create with Tyreek Hill gone and Tua struggling. This plays in December and January. This offensive line and the running game. This plays in this kind of football weather. Like this travels in all kind of weather scenarios and all kind of variables. Running games travel.
Gentlemen, guys, I'm making a run for the end zone. I think I'm gonna cross the line.
Yes!
He's down. I'm in the end zone right now.
Jason, we're going for two. Go for two. Come on.
Can I try to goalpost dunk? I don't know.
Can you do it?
Oh, you can do it.
Come on, Sonny, go for it. Have somebody hold your phone.
I'm getting the eyeball right now. I don't think I should.
Do it. Have somebody hold your phone and record you.
I don't want to rupture the L5. I'm going to stay on the ground here.
It'd be great for the audience if they actually escort you out of the game. That'd be great. So
I just want to catch a football that's being thrown around if that's the case. That would be great.
Who's throwing it? Brady Cook or Tua? Because they both might not hit you.
Not so sure. Not so sure. The players are long gone.
Yeah. No. Man, so McDaniel, I got to say this about Mike. If he sticks with this style, I know Evans. We're going to talk about this, Evan, and Evan and I. We know how I feel about Mike. But again, I always go back to. I think Mike made the mistake from the beginning here and not run a team like it. It's incredible when he designs these motions and run game concepts. It's the way to win. It's how San Francisco does, and you see Mike doing this. If he sticks with this, if he would have stuck with this maybe last year or the year before. Do you think it's because of the Tyreek? Is he forced to do it? Or do you think Mike finally figured it out? Or maybe realized Tua's plays really dropped off. But
it could be a combination of everything. I mean, this is the formula that works, especially with that heavy set package. And you run the ball. You have a potential 2 or 3 pronged headed rushing attack, a good solid defense playing better. You're down Tyreek Hill, obviously. You got one viable number one and a couple of secondary options. You got to get Darren Waller a bit more involved, but run the freaking ball 30-plus times a game. That is the formula.
Yeah. Anthony has a comment. Jason, was it cold and raining the whole game? Because around this time during the winter, it starts flirting with snow or raining cold weather. No rain, right? It was
zero precipitation, little chill, not bad, very, very tolerable for early December in New York, New Jersey area.
All right, let's get in. Let's get Evan back in. Let Evan roll a little bit. It's been too long. Evan, go for it. Give me your thoughts on the game.
On the pregame show, Sammy thought something was wrong with me because I was obviously trolling a little bit, but I was very positive Tua was going to have a great game, and that McDaniel was going to call a great game. And lo and behold, I'm sure Sammy was saying, "Oh my God, what Evan said what happened was in the first quarter is exactly what I said should happen." You run the ball, you sprinkle in what works for Tua. The wide receivers were wide open, and they dominated. All of a sudden, Mike McDaniel did what I thought he would always do, and he flipped the script and said, "Wait, now Tua, let's put the pedal to the metal, and you start winning us football games." And I got into a big fight with people who I was texting with. "Oh, we still need to have explosive plays, throw the ball." Not with Tua. Tua in this 4-game winning streak. Has 127 yards, 157 yards, 171 yards, and 173 yards. 171 yards and 173 yards. That in a 4-game winning streak. How that actually? That's because of the run game, right? The run game today ran for.
I don't know whose mic that is.
Is it my mic?
I don't know whose mic that is. I'm hearing myself. Is it me?
I heard a delay, yes.
I don't know.
Maybe it was Jason. Tell me if it continues.
Go ahead.
So Tua threw for 127 yards today. Brady Cook threw for 4 more yards than he did. the Jalen Wright almost caught up to him in the running game. Tua did his job and looked like the quarterback we all wanted him to be this season in the first half. The mix of sprinkle in the pass with the run game. The run game saved our keister today, and when we got away from it, Tua started throwing noodle arm lob throws. And yes, a lot of it was bad decision making on his part, but at one point, like you said, the Jalen Wright throw or the throw to the one to shoot deep into the end zone, those were very poor decisions on Tua and very poor play calling on his part. The fact that it was even that close heading into the half, that it was even a 2-score game, was not a Mike McDaniel designed offense that we had in 2023. Now, I'm happy with the win. I could not be happier. I was not anyone who was questioning the win. I will push back. But what it proved today is if you use Jalen Wright, you use Devon Achane, and you. By the way, did you see Jonas Savaianaya getting to the second level of the linebackers? Did you see Patrick Paul literally by himself push Ollie Gordon into the end zone? The only mistakes that are glaring that I will put on the offense today, outside of Tua's average meat performance, was the 3 motion penalties and 2 unnecessary timeouts. They cannot get the play in still. They're not taking the timeouts when timeouts should be taken, and they're taking poor penalties. I'll tell you that was a phantom call on Jalen Waddle behind the back. That was a poor penalty on him. He did not block him. He literally did not even really have his hands on him. The defense gave up 3 points. Did they play a great team? No. The special teams, I will say the biggest knock is on Greg Ackerman. To be able to have that kind of a poor game that was one of the most disorganized fake punts I've ever seen, and you still let them get 19 yards. Ethan Bonner missed a bunch of tackles, even though he got the interception at the end. Good for him. But everyone did their job. Like on the defensive side of the ball, everyone did their job. Even Jordan, you didn't hear Jordan Brooks name that one much today. You saw more of Bradley Chubb, more of Chop Robinson, more of Zach Sealer. Mike McDaniel called a very good game in the first and the fourth quarter. It seemed that in the second and the third quarter, him and Tua go to sleep, or they forget how to play football. So the Dolphins are very basically they're like a sandwich, right? It's like a club sandwich. We have 2 great pieces of bread, but the meat inside the middle that you need to be able to enjoy your sandwich was not there. So we enjoyed the first quarter. We loved the fourth quarter. The middle, that was hard to watch. Now, the win is a win. Thank God we got up to that really big lead, because if we would have settled for field goals and we would have let Tua throw more than pass in the first quarter, and it would have only been 13-0, we might be having a very different conversation right now, right? Because it would have been 13-7, etc., right? Instead of if those 3 scores would have been a field goal, 2 field goals and a touchdown versus 3 touchdowns. The one play I will give credit to for Tua, his best play of the game, was he knew he was about to get hit, but still got rid of the ball on Waddle's touchdown. That was his first great play of the game. It was his last great play of the game.
He didn't see him, though.
He didn't see it, no, but he still got it off, right? He still got it off.
No.
He still had enough.
He hung in there
on it to get it off. Waddle was good today, but it was hit or miss. But Tua's errant throws, like the whole accuracy thing, is a little bit phantom today, because a lot of his passes he was just off today.
His mechanics are off.
He almost played. You know what this team sort of reminds me of, the way he's playing, is when Ben Roethlisberger was a rookie and he was good, but they won because of their defense and their run game in that first Super Bowl. Remember, he had a Super Bowl where he had like 100 yards. Tua's playing like that. Tua can't even get to 200 yards passing in 4 games. We got to almost 240 yards rushing, and they're not a bad defense, the Jets, on the line. So overall, I'm happy with the win. I'm looking forward to the fact that we're going into a game next Monday with something actually to play for. But unfortunately, the Bengals didn't do us any favors today. By the way, but it is true. What is true today, more than anything, as much as your coach matters, if you look at the scores in the NFL today, it really matters what the offense does. What your quarterback does. Because if you look at the people today, Joe Burrow, as good as he was, 2 very, very bad interceptions cost him the football game.
Evan, let me break you. We got Frank the Tank segment here, and you can jump back on.
I have to go in 15 minutes, but I'll join back from the car.
Frank, what's up, man? 4 in a row.
I am on the road home from MetLife Stadium. I'm on Route 3.
Okay.
Will you come to when 80,000 people try to fill this stadium, it takes an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get out of the parking lot. There is no line to get out of the parking lot. I'm basically halfway home already. There's no traffic on Route 3. There's no traffic coming into the game. This is insane how empty the stadium was at the end of the game. There were more Dolphin fans. They were pumping in noise for the to
Frank's probably under a tunnel or something, or breaking up. Frank, you're breaking up. You froze on us. I will. We'll let Frank. Go ahead, Evan. You want to finish?
No, the only thing I want to add when Frank comes back.
home.
Frank, you with us? Your screen's black. You're frozen on us. We'll give you some time to get back.
Oh no, the only thing I was
there
going
you
to
go.
mention.
There you go. You're back.
If you look at today's games,
He's back.
Evan. Back?
Go ahead, Frank.
Okay, he'll knock me out.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones getting injured. The Colts falter. The fact that Baker Mayfield had an awful game cost so many people in Survivor. The Commanders, no Jaden Daniels today, fell apart. The Bengals, Joe Burrow, 2 consecutive pick six and an interception, cost themselves
Let's
the game.
get Frank while he's still. Well, we can. Go ahead, Frank.
I mean, it usually takes it's. I live like 25 minutes from MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
And there's like one traffic choke point right here, but there's like almost no traffic getting going to the game and leaving the stadium. There's like it usually takes an hour to leave MetLife Stadium. There was nobody there, and they kept playing loud noise and loud music. There were more Dolphin fans in that stadium today than there were Jet fans.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. I was not too far from the Dolphin sideline. 29 rows up from the Miami sideline. And there's not one point tonight where I thought, oh, Dolphins are going to lose this game. Now, they came out, a good first drive, got the 21-0 lead, and then they kind of like went into this like purple haze for 2 quarters. The punt return, if it wasn't for that Jet punt return, this could have been a shutout. I mean, the Dolphins' defense played well, but you got to wonder if it's how bad the Jets are. And I mean, they did it 6-7. Now you got to see if they could bounce back and if they can actually keep it going against the Steelers and maybe actually make me kind of believe a little bit.
So you were there, yeah. We noticed on TV the empty stadium, and I noticed a lot of that aqua and orange. Your thoughts on the game, though? I mean, the Jets. It looked like the Jets wanted to leave after the first quarter, but they hung in there.
To me, my impersonation of the game today was that the Dolphins were basically playing just beating upon somebody who was just wounded and injured. This wasn't a fight. I've seen heavy bags put up more fight than the Jets today.
Yeah. So you think this has more to do with the Jets? I mean, you got to give the Dolphins credit though. 4 in a row, 34-10.
I don't give them credit. They did. But there was moments there where like that
Tua.
that sideward pass at the end of that where they almost had the backwards lateral that led to a Jet walking touchdown, and Tua almost throwing another walking touchdown in the third.
The Jets. Oh, he broke up. Yeah. Speaking of that, the Jets can't get.
You know who Frank reminds me of? Frank, you know who you remind me of today? You remind me of the Dolphins' offense. Starts off really well, then you're breaking up, and then you're going to be good at the end. You're going to be exactly like the Dolphins today. You're going to be exactly like the Dolphins.
Hopefully Achan's ribs are okay, but having 8 days to recover. I mean, maybe if the game's close and it's he comes back out there, but he had 93 yards in a quarter and a half.
How did Jalen Wright look out there? He got his first 100-yard game. Jalen Wright also kind of picked up in the fourth quarter. They kind of put it away.
I don't know. I don't understand why the Dolphins stopped running the ball. The Jets couldn't stop anybody.
Yeah, no, they couldn't.
The Jets defense couldn't stop anybody. I don't know why they weren't running the ball the whole game.
Yeah, and what did you think of the offensive line? I mean, you got to give them credit in the running game. I thought they really moved the Jets off the line of scrimmage. Even though the Jets have been struggling against the run, but they've been getting a little better. But your thoughts on the offensive line when you were there?
The offensive line played well today. The offensive line played well. Defense played well. I mean, this Brady Cook. I mean, Brady Cook. The ribs charred up on him.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can see the pass rushers were licking their chops, man. They
you know
licking their chops.
the guy who's driving me, and I went to the game with over here. He's a Jet
What's
fan,
up, buddy?
and he told me that the Jets, and I didn't even realize this. The Jets haven't had an interception in a calendar year.
Yeah, no, they haven't. And they dropped like 2 or 3 in this game. One that was right in his chest.
Oh, one that was a walk-in. One that was a walk-in pick 6.
Oh, the one to the on the goal line, right? On our own goal.
Yeah, and Tua would Tua didn't have another game where Tua looked weak, but Achane Wright had a good game. I mean, defense played well. It was stunning. I've never been in a stadium this empty. I actually went to a MetLife Stadium when the New York Guardians played their first game, and they were giving out a lot of comp tickets, and there were more people there for that game.
Yes, he's never been to a Marlins game in South Florida, Lou, right?
Yeah, that's what Bobby actually was telling me.
Yeah.
He said that this is what it must feel like to be at a
Marlins
going to a
game.
Marlins game.
Oh, don't do that to us. Me and Luke, we hold
I
that
know,
game
I love
special now.
Hold on. I had to suffer through the Expos, okay? I had to suffer through the Expos with 4,000.
Frank's got to suffer through the Mets. Frank's got to.
I know.
But wow, it's just
What do we make of this, Frank? Like the last 2 seasons, we start like how do we? This is what I struggle with. How do we look at this? Do we forget about the first 8, 9 games, or are we already?
No, we don't.
We're 6
We
or
don't.
17. Yeah.
no. We got okay. Buffalo, that was an impressive win.
Yeah.
But come on, Falcons are terrible. Saints are horrible. Jets are inept, incompetent. I mean, I don't even know what to describe the Jets anymore. The Commanders are basically just shot. I mean, they've had the Commanders are owned by the same team as by the Devils. Same guy owns both teams, and both teams seasons have been completely shot down by injuries.
So I don't know. The Penn part. I just look at it as the whole Bill Parcells thing. You are what your record is. There probably was always. I thought they were 8-9 win team, and they probably just evened out.
Well, that's not good. That's not good.
I know.
I'd
Again.
almost rather. What are
Yeah.
all these cars just lined up here?
I don't know.
That looks a little sketchy.
Little suspicious, huh?
There's like dozens of car trucks. Like these cars, the ones that ship cars from somewhere
Maybe they're
else.
waiting for the Dolphin, Aaron Glenn, to get out.
They're all going to South Florida now. Just Frank.
But my God, the Jets' ineptitude is something special. I mean, the Dolphins' mediocrity. It's what I always call this NFL hell. When you're 8-9
It's
every
sports
year.
hell, though. It's sports hell. Mediocrity is the worst place you want to be in any sports. And we're like I said on my last show, no matter what happens, the gravity pulls, the dial just keeps going back to the middle, no matter what, and we kind of, it's almost, you get this 2 and whatever start, we rip McDaniel, rip everybody, then we get on a run the end of the year.
2-7. Well, they're 4-0. They're 4-0 since firing Chris Greer.
Right. Not only that, and losing Jaden Phillips. And I was told Jaden Phillips, if you listen to Dave Hyde, was playing really undisciplined on the defense, kind of doing whatever he wants. And surprisingly, we might want to think about behind the scenes, Jalen Phillips might have been a little bit of a problem on the defense, even though his name is Jalen Phillips.
Well, how about this one? And he celebrated when he got injured.
Oh.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, well, you know what the biggest thing with Tyreek Hill? You see Tua suffer, but what you do is you see McDaniel forced to play the way he always should have played with Mike McDaniel. And
Yes.
with the run, and I think that's the biggest thing.
But I think Tyreek Hill's just belly aching, whining, and wanting to football all the time.
I don't want to take credit, but I did say the beginning and the end of this rebuild is when they traded for Tyreek Hill. But that's another thing, and it might be proving right. But anybody have any questions for Frank, Evan, Sammy, Lou? You got any questions for Frank.
Yeah, but I think I'm starting to go. The connection's starting to get a little sketchy again, and I'm almost home.
All right. Well, thank Frank. Well, hopefully we'll see you next week. Dolphins play the Steelers. Take care,
Yep.
man. Thanks for coming on.
All right. See you around.
All right. Take care.
So one point I want to ask all of you, because I think it's really proof today, which is I think what we're learning more and more is, especially with how things just fell apart with the Browns, where Shador had a great game. You go as far as your QB goes, and that really is this league. Baker Mayfield crapped the bed today. Daniel Jones got injured. Shador Sanders went out of the game. I don't know why they tried to thing on this 2-point conversion that cost the game. Joe Burrow threw a pick six and an interception on 2 consecutive plays when the Bengals had a chance. If your quarterback releases the football in a very scary, inefficient way, which Tua seemed to even be doing today, even though he didn't have a lot of, like, Tua cannot throw into coverage. Unless there is a spot throw or the wide receiver is, because if you happen to notice, every time he threw the ball to Jalen Waddle, he was wide open. Like, not even, like, there was no one there.
Well, there's less separation on the field without the gravity of Tyreek Hill, so it's harder for him.
But in the first half,
it's a perfect storm.
It worked.
Evan, it's a perfect storm, Evan. It's Tua's regression, whether it's an injury or the mobility in the arm strength's not there. Tyreek Hill created so. It's like, Lou, remember when Duncan Robinson created so much gravity with his 3-point when they do the bam, what do you call it? The handoff, the handoffs. Like, he created so much. It created so many guys open, and it sounds weird. Like, oh yeah, any quarterback can throw to an open receiver, but when Tua sees guys open, he's comfortable. That's where his accuracy shines because he doesn't miss, right? But now you're getting shorter windows, more arms in the air, less room to throw the ball. The Tyreek injury hurts Tua, but in a weird way, it helped the team go to the direction. If Tua's your quarterback in this style, and Mike McDaniel, your head coach, is the way you should be playing off the running game, off play action. But the thing is, Tua's regressed so much. I don't even know a dominant running game if he's the right quarterback that can take you deep in the playoffs right now.
But what I found really weird, though, guys, is the fact that it worked in the first quarter, but they stopped doing what they were doing. And I don't think the Jets adjusted.
It's a lot of that scripted.
I know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, where was Darren Waller? I said this in the pregame. Where was Darren Waller again today? They didn't utilize him.
Let's talk about Dulcich. Or how do you?
Dulcich was great, but all I'm trying to say is, like, it's just almost like it's so easy for Tua. Like, you have to throw the ball once every 4 or 5 plays, and you're throwing these noodle arm. And I was pushing for him to be successful today, and he had the opportunity. He looked great in the first half, and then all of a sudden he started doing things that were against the script, and they were forcing things, and it just didn't make any sense to me. But one thing also, like even today, where he got sacked, like he didn't read it, but he didn't have a chance. Like Ollie Gordon, the running backs can't block. But I'm happy for Jalen Wright. That's who I'm happiest more than anybody on the field today, because the man had almost more touches today than he had all season combined. And you see how powerful he is when he hits a lineman, and so is Gordon.
Whoa.
When they make connection with the defensive player, they push the player. And this is remember, this is why you signed Austin Jackson. This is why you drafted Patrick Paul. This is why you drafted Jonas Savaianaya. That's why you actually went to get a small center and Aaron Brewer. These 4 linemen, Cole Strange is a sprinkle in there because those 4 guys you actually signed for or drafted were meant to be power, run, open space, running type of linemen. They're not great in pass protection. They're great in the run game.
Oh, also, the thing is, the way we weren't running the ball enough in the beginning of the season, when you run the ball like that and these guys have success, it gives them rhythm and confidence. I want to go to Lou and Sammy here.
I'm going to bounce in 3 minutes if I get bounced, but I'll probably join back from my car. I'll jump back in.
Sounds good. All right, Lou and Sammy. Lou, how would you assess Tua's play? Because on surface, you look at the stats, he had a 94 rating. What was his stats? I think he was 13 for 21. Again, passing attempts, when they run the ball more than pass the ball, it's the key. It's a success. It plays in all weather. Tua Tagovailoa today, 13 of 21, 127 yards, touchdown, 1 sack. But you saw in that middle of the game, you said it best, and that's when that third, they kind of put the ball in his hands a little bit. I didn't think he played very well. I think he did enough. I think when you go up 21-0 and you're running games playing like that, most quarterbacks are going to win. I just still don't think he's playing that well. Your thoughts on Tua this game, Lou?
Yeah, I mean, he did just enough. I wasn't overtly impressed. You mentioned 13 out of 21, but about 9 of those completions took place in the first half.
Yeah.
So again, he took his foot off the gas pedal, and shame on McDaniel too for not adjusting to that and kind of reinventing him. Again, he's this offensive guru, this offensive mastermind, but he can't figure out how to
In-game adjustments
after a surprise, a start there. Look, I know that play action pass isn't probably a good proposition to put two in because he could, can't roll out and do that. But put another back in there. Do a fake draw. You got to use the run to your advantage. And once you have that element of surprise, because I'll tell you what, if he ends up throwing 21 times next week, we're not going to win that football game because the Steelers they're a better defense than the Jets. They will stack up that front line there. And, you're not going to be able to brush the ball on the Steelers like you did today. So McDaniel has to put Tua in better position to make manageable throws, not just throw into double coverage or to, errantly throw a pass where he's forcing it. He's got to take advantage of when the run game is working, find an element of surprise where you can fool the defense. And again, I know that with Tua's lack of speed, that's tough to do to disguise in some packages, but you get paid and you're this guru for a reason. Make it happen. You can't just go 2.5 quarters without doing anything.
Yeah, they didn't have they didn't have a third down conversion because it was misleading. You're up. How do you not have a third down conversion until like the middle of the third quarter? And you're up. What was the score? 24-7 or whatever they were up. I even didn't realize that. Both teams. We talk about Sammy in-game adjustments with McDaniel. Again, he does everything halfway. There's some good things I like about McDaniel, but then there's just things I don't like. I don't want to get on too much because it's a 34-10 win in the NFL. We saw the Bucs and the Saints. What was that final score? The Bucs and the Saints. Did they end up pulling away, or I didn't even.
The Saints won the game.
The Saints won the game. So it's an NFL win. Even last week we saw, and the night game was a real close game, and it's a bad team. I forget who played, but it made me realize, look, a win's a win. But Sammy, the in-game adjustments of McDaniel, you still see. But how did you see Tua, and kind of how did you see Tua in this game, and why you think the hot start and then slow down for basically 2 quarters?
Basically, if you look at it correctly, Waddle is the only wide receiver the Dolphins have right now that is hot. And Waddle, there were some throws that were a little bit off on Tua, and Waddle was hurt for a little bit part of the game. Waller, after 2 games coming back, he's probably getting back because he's not being the player he was once at the beginning of the season. He's not being effective in the red zone. The Dolphins have been running the end zone, which is good because they've been effective. But Tua is still off. He didn't have a bad game, and you can see McDaniel kind of make good adjustments in the running game. You can see they kept finding ways. They tried to skip running to try to stop the run, but McDaniel keep making adjustments, moving the 6'9" man, finding ways to to run the ball. He makes the adjustments correctly, running the ball. Passing, that's another story because McDaniel, I think he sometimes overthinks things on offense, in the passing offense. But Tua, we were expecting a bad game from Tua, or at least I was, and I read so many others expecting a very bad game from Tua in cold weather. So compared to expectations, he had an okay game. He did not lose. He tried because that throw basically in the end zone, and that throw behind the back, that was a touchdown because that pass was. If it's a lateral, right? If it's a lateral, it's supposed to be back.
What did you guys think?
That was a lateral because that was a backward pass because if it's a lateral, if it's a fumble, it's supposed to be a backward.
And the guy recovered. I think he had both feet.
Yes, and he recovered in the end zone.
Yeah. Did you think that was did you agree with that?
The way they explained it, it's where his arm angle.
Yeah.
The fact that he's left-handed helped him because if he was right-handed, it would have it actually helped him in that case. But the way they explained it, it made sense.
Yeah, that was one. The other one was the one that basically almost threw a pick 2 because it was only 2 yards into the end zone. So that was basically a pass. That tells you all you need about the Jets to making interceptions because that was the easiest interception ever. It's like the easiest pick 6 ever in the history of the NFL, and the guy dropped it. So that was 14 points, and that's a complete swing of the game. So Tua tried to basically screw the game, or Mike McDaniel tried with calling the games he called, but the Dolphins find a way to win. So at the end of the day, Tua saved the day by not throwing those interceptions, even if he tried.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got about 170 people here on our platforms. Make sure you come over to YouTube with us. Thumbs up, hit the little bell. And if you want to watch what happened to Tua, we had a big episode with Dave Hyde. And, also I want to mention, we mentioned that we're giving a book giveaway. Here's the book. One lucky listener will be winning this book, Still Perfect. The Untold Story of the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Great read. Dave is a great author. He has a few books. We're going to give this away. So make sure you keep comment on the videos. Be active in the chat this week. We'll probably decide. Jason and I will figure it out, and we'll decide a lucky listener will get this book. So make sure you comment in the video section of the episodes and be active in the chat. We'll kind of pick out some guy, somebody we feel has the best comment, or I'm thinking about maybe taking a bunch of names and putting them in, generating them, and kind of pick a winner. But somebody will get this book, so we appreciate that. All right. So we mentioned we got the Steelers next. 7-7, boys, or what are we thinking here? What's the 7-7 sign, Sammy? Is there 7-7?
Maybe the reverse. Maybe instead of this, it's this. There you go.
No, that's 8. That's 8.
We figured this was possible, right? It's so funny how we can kind of see this all coming. They're 2-7 at Dolphins fans. Don't worry. Look at the schedule coming up. They're going to be 6-7. Right.
This is what the Dolphins do. Either they get hot too late, or they start hot and flounder in December. So pick your poison, because one of the two things are going to happen. The Steelers are not playing great, but they found a way to beat the Ravens. So they still are top of they still. And Aaron Rodgers always feels very confident against the Dolphins. Always. He feels he can beat the Dolphins every single time. So it's going to be another cold weather game. That we said
got lucky in this one. They got lucky. It didn't look on TV and we had Jason there. It didn't. Speaking of Jason,
is he alive?
Go ahead.
Jason?
Yeah, go ahead, Sam. Go ahead. Finish your point.
No, Jason's here. I want to see what Jason has to say. Jason,
Hey, I'm back, fellas.
Jason.
We had Frank to take on. He mentioned he was appalled at the how easy it was to get in and out of the game for a Jets game. There was no traffic because he lives about 25 from the stadium. Was it that easy to get out of there?
Appalled. I was thrilled. It was a piece of cake. I mean, who's appalled by convenience in the Northeast getting to a venue?
Friend attack. Friend attack.
Jason, I just mentioned we're gonna do the giveaway here. Still perfect. The book's Still Perfect. The Untold Story of the Dolphins. We're gonna give it away. We got to find out how we're gonna do it. We'll probably generate some names, but I told everybody comment on the videos this week. We'll decide. Maybe we got another one potentially coming up, another giveaway, but we'll figure out how we're gonna do it. But yeah. So Jason, your thoughts out as you from the stadium to the car. Anything you didn't mention before you want to add on being at the game visually? Somebody asked in the chat. Hold on. We had a question for you, Jason. How bad did Tua look in person, Jason?
I mean, he started off 7 for 7. He started off okay, and then it was really just a ground reliant game. I knew he made some bad throws. He almost threw a pick 6 there, but this team should be a run first team.
Always should have been. Always should have been.
Always should have been. I mean, I even said it coming in. I said, I think either on our podcast or on Sammy's, that if Tua has to throw like 30 times, they're going to lose. And what did he throw? 20?
21.
They did not. I could have played quarterback today and they would have won.
I don't know if Brady Cook could have. Brady Cook, 4'6" guy in the draft, good athlete, big arm. I kind of like Brady Cook coming out undrafted free agent. That's just going back to when I remember that name in the draft. He was like a 7th round quarterback that I was looking at. But clearly, the Chop Robinson, okay, coming on the last few weeks. How did Chop look? How did the defensive line, the rookies, the young guys look? Jonah, Savaianaya, how did they look, the young guys?
the entire offensive line looked like a good cohesive unit. You know, when I'm at these games, sometimes I'm walking around, I'm changing my location, you know, it's tough to see from that perspective individually. So I'm looking forward to watching, you know, the abbreviated full game and watching some highlights from the broadcast perspective. But save a couple of different runs that were like behind the line of scrimmage, the offensive line dominated. Jalen Wright at one time, somebody behind me was like, is this guy averaging like 10 yards a carry? And it wasn't 10 yards, it was like 5 yards, but he looked very, very good, Jalen. Yeah. And early on, Devon Achane had a couple of terrific runs, one setting up the touchdown for Jalen. The run game was dominant. The offensive line was dominant. From what I saw, there was no glaring problem with Jonah, you know. Really love the way Rasul Douglas is playing since he returned from injury, and all season he's been a beast. And the defense was phenomenal. I mean, I would have loved for them on special teams to not have given up that punt return. But what could you do? You know, what could you do? It happens, and the Dolphins didn't let up a touchdown defensively. Just a special teamer.
Yeah. Talk about, too, also, the one thing that I noticed in the game is tight end Dulcich. He's a nice little player, that guy. That tight end. I didn't see, like, it seemed like he was the first option over Waller. He stood out. So, any guys stand out to you live? Because sometimes when you watch things live, it looks different. Dulcich is a guy who stood out, right? Like, Rasul Douglas, but who stood out to you from watching the TV to live? I always have that kind of impression when I put eyes on guys.
This is an easy answer, but he made a couple of tackles right in front of me. Jordan Brooks is fucking great. I mean, he makes the play and he just looks the part. And I'm gonna upgrade him to an all-pro. I mean, he's a Pro Bowler for darn sure, but he could be an all-pro.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about the Steelers coming up. 7-7, Jason?
I'll answer it later in the week. I want to see what, you know, but this is, I said that this game today was go against the stigma game, and they did. You know, they go into New York to a, 0-7 in games lower than 46 degrees. Dolphins have always kind of had that problem on the road in December with the weather. And this was not an elemental weather game. It was a little cold, but it was not swirling winds. It wasn't extremely detrimental to a football team's progress. But this game coming up in Pittsburgh will be another stigma type of game. Nationally televised, prime time against a road opponent where you're going to have the elements, probably worse than they were today. It's a night game. And it's a team that's fighting for their lives. It's not a team that's fighting for draft pick positioning and already looking forward to 2026 and 2027 draft classes. So great win, fun win. You had to have expected and hoped for this. So I can't necessarily stamp the fact that they're going to go in and wallop the Steelers, but much better than sneaking out a win against the Saints last week. This is what you wanted to see.
Oh, Finn Sanders says, how long is the drive home, Jason?
Hour and 15 minutes.
Not bad. This is not bad.
I'm going to go off camera so I can get on the road, but I'm listening. I'm talking.
All right.
Drive safely.
Yes, drive safely. Good. He's happy that it was easy to get in and out. Go ahead, Sammy.
I just want to say something. We talked so many times about what we needed to see from the Dolphins. We needed to see the Dolphins find a way to stop the run, and they got better. We for sure to see overall to play better defense they have. We needed to protect the football, and they have lowered their interceptions, non-interceptions today. They no turnovers today. They're running the ball consistently, and that's the kind of way you have to play in December. It's gonna be a task to go to Pittsburgh and beat the Steelers in probably 15-20 degree weather, but this Dolphins team, the way they have played the last 4 weeks, has a chance to do it because they're running the ball better, they're playing better defense. So I feel better about these teams' chances right now doing something like that than any of the other teams that were actually better than this team, because they are running the ball, they're stopping the run, they're playing good defense. So if they find a way to run the ball in Pittsburgh and control the clock, and Tua doesn't get, as Ada Reed would say, permacuss and try to throw interceptions, the Dolphins might have a chance to win the game. I'm not saying they're going to win. I don't feel confident by any means. This is Steelers. And the Steelers always play the Dolphins tough and usually beat the Dolphins. So in the last, 20, 25 years. But this team has a chance because they're playing the kind of football that wins in December. Run the ball, stop the run, play defense. So those might have a chance.
To me, that's what it's all about. They're playing a style, and that leads to winning. To me, it wasn't. I agree with Dave Hyde. It wasn't the cold. It's the wind. It's the opponent. It's the style of play. When you're a surf and turf team throwing the ball everywhere, that just doesn't translate in cold. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't. Lou, when the Panthers had that running gun style and they got in the playoffs, what happened? It doesn't work in December, January in playoffs. Do you think, Lou, this style here, regardless of the weather, is going to play? Because Pittsburgh, you look at them, you mentioned them, they're struggling. Their defense is not great against the run. They're middle of the pack on a lot of the statistics. Your thoughts on this style here, if McDaniel sticks with it again, playing with the lead's important. We haven't seen McDaniel play from behind. They've been playing with the lead. So that, will he abandon it they're down 10-0 in the first quarter? We always say it. Sam, will he adjust or will he stick with the run or will he abandon it? He's been up. Your thoughts on that and kind of this style of play translating into December and January football?
No, I definitely think that it's sustainable if you're able to run. First things first, Achane has to be healthy, right?
Let's talk about it. We haven't even talked about it. We're
at last look, it looked like it's a rib injury from what I heard, or a rib scare.
Yeah, a rib.
Yeah, and that's not good. I mean, that he'll probably have to put on a different kind of padding if he gets the go ahead. So the first things first, he needs to be healthy. But look, we were able to run the ball when he went out. He only had 7 attempts, and we kept it moving. So absolutely, it can be done. But I'm going back to what I said. I think they need to have a different element of surprise with Tua back there, where when the run game's working like this, put him in a position where you fake and hide the run and are able to make him make the necessary throws in order to keep moving those chains and scoring more points, even if it's field goals. But you cannot take your foot off the gas pedal and just be complacent with a 21 or 24 certain lead or 24 points you put on the board and not do anything the rest of the way. So we'll see. In terms of Pittsburgh, it's kind of strange because it's probably a good thing that they won today, because we obviously lose the head-to-head tiebreaker with Baltimore, and we play Pittsburgh next week, so we can obviously have the upper hand on them. But at the same time, the Steelers fans were getting ready to quit on the team, and a lot of people want Tomlin out.
I'll take him. Come on. I'll take Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. I mean, it's been coming out in the news that the Steelers have a decision to make come March, whether or not they're going to pick up his last remaining year on his contract or give him an extension. So there's a decision that has to be made. A lot of fans are wanting to see a change. So had they lost this game today, that would have been, the crowd would have been like in a frenzy. With any bad call that would have been made, and it would have played in the Dolphins' favor. Now, with not only them beating the Steelers, but with the Bengals losing today, it's their division for the taking. And that doesn't just come with a playoff spot. It comes with a playoff home game. So it's going to be tough. There's a lot on the line for both teams, obviously, but I think the Steelers' victory today re-energizes them, and it's going to be a crazy scene in Pittsburgh on Monday night. And Jason mentioned it was going to be a little bit colder. Sammy mentioned 15 or 12. I'm going to be there. So
that's right. You and Ash are going to be there, huh?
That's right. At last look, I saw it was going to be 9 degrees. So
this is a different ballgame. Yeah, that's different. All right, Sammy. So I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think, if I told you a percentage, how realistic is this playoff thing? I think it's a 0% chance. But do you think it's actually realistic that they can go into that Patriots game with meaningful football? I'll ask both of you guys. I'll start with you, Sam.
One question is they can run the table, and that's difficult. Running the table doesn't guarantee you to get in, because if you look ahead, the teams that are ahead of us, basically the Bills already won today, so they keep a 2-game lead. The Chargers will play tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. And the Colts right now, they're in trouble because that injury, that that's really sad. Bertold Daniel Jones. They might have a chance to slip from the playoffs. That's one spot, but we still have the Chiefs ahead of us. We have either the Ravens or the Steelers ahead of us. Those two are very, very good teams, year in out. So even if the Dolphins find a way to run the table, which I think is way too difficult because the Bengals are playing better. They should have won today. They allowed that game to slip away. The Patriots, they remain to be seen how they do the playoffs, but at least the quarterback is playing better. We'll also have to wait and see. So it's hard. It's hard for them to not only to run the table, but to find a way to the playoffs. So realistically, how do I see the chance to get Dolphins win the playoff? I don't know, 5%, 4%, 3%, 1%, no more than 5%. And 5 is saying too much because, again, the opposition, the teams ahead of us are a lot, and they're actually better than the Dolphins if you come to think about it.
And I think it's actually a lot better. And I was not just last week. I was thinking that they had.
I think now we can start talking about it, right? Like 5-7, 6 and 7. You beat the Steelers. Now you can start talking about it a little bit.
Yeah, if you beat the Steelers, I'll start talking about it.
Go ahead,
Luke. Look, the Bills, the Bengals really cost us today because had the Bills lost today, that would have been a big help to our chances there. So the Bills winning hurt a little bit, but the Bengals losing, they're pretty much out. I don't see any path on how the Bengals – their only path really was to win the division, and now that's out altogether. So I don't see the Bengals having a chance. At that point, if they lose next week again, they may just say, hey, Joe Burrow, go ahead and, sit on the sidelines. We're not going to the playoffs. So it may be a non-Burrow game for the Bengals, that one. The Bucs look lost. The Bucs look completely lost. That should be a winnable game at home. And the biggest wild card here is not wild card, but the biggest enigma here is the Patriots. Because if the Patriots beat the Bills next week, the way the Broncos been playing, it's very likely that the Patriots could have the number 1 seed in hand for Week 18. And if that's the case, they're going to rest all their starters. And now the Dolphins could potentially win that game. Again, we still need a lot of help, but it's not unrealistic for them to keep this winning streak going and win out the last 4. I think it's very, very doable. And we'll know, again, more on how they play against Pittsburgh. But it's not out of the realm of possibility, in my opinion.
Yeah. I still think I'm more with Sammy on the small percentage, but things could break. I mean, you look at the schedule. The Bucs, you said, the Patriots. What are the Patriots playing for in that last game of the season? Who knows? It could be a possibility, but I think the bigger thing here with the win streak is not about if they make the playoffs or not. And shout out to almost 200 people we have live on all platforms. I appreciate you guys joining us. I see your comments in the chat. If you have any questions for us, we are Dolphins win 34-10 with the blowout versus the Jets in 4 in a row, 5 out of the last 6. But has Mike McDaniel saved his job? It's looking like it more and more. Who wants to go first? Sammy, go ahead.
I just want to say, when we're talking about the playoff chances, according to NFL.com, the Dolphins' chances right now, the playoff probability is 1%.
I was right. Bingo, I won.
At 6 and 7. The Ravens 32%, the Chiefs 50%, the Texans 84%. If they run the tables, the Colts right now are 50%. They're lower. If they run out, the Chargers 74% and the Bills 95%. So you can run the table, but again, you still have the Texans, Chiefs, and Ravens ahead of us. Like Lou said, the Bengals are basically done right now. They are out, but they can play spoiler. They did not play spoiler for the Bills today, but we had to play them, so they can be a spoiler for us. So we have to wait and see.
Yeah, go ahead, Lou.
It's going to be tough, but again, if the Patriots are able to beat the Bills next week, that pretty much gives them the division. That would be 2 wins over them. So I would give them a shot there, and. Just gotta figure out a way to win on Monday, and then we'll reassess.
Yeah, here's Mike spoke. Coach McDaniel spoke on the A-Chain injury because you saw the difference he made in the fourth quarter. Jalen Wright, give him credit. They started running plays because he can't run the same offense. He's not an outside zone guy like Devon A-Chain is, and that's a misconception of him. But they started running things more, and he got more comfortable as the game went on. But let's play a short clip here of Coach McDaniel speaking with the media about change. Bring it up here for you guys. Okay.
It was, we got it looked at. He was hurting, but he was available to come back in the game in an emergency. But there's no, you worry about breaks. That takes time. Didn't see that, but he'll be getting treatment. He was available to come back in the game. I just chose not to put him in there.
All right, so that's good. At least he could have came back in an emergency situation, right, guys? Lou, I know that's big, right? They can't lose him.
They cannot lose him. Man, that first run, that 39-yard scamper.
Oh, he's on another level, man, right now.
It's just it looks like Jason was the one that said this at the beginning of the. He looks like Marshall Faulk out there. I mean, maybe not
that's 28.
Not that receiving aspect all the time, but man, he is a special player. And first things first, he needs to be healthy. So no matter what the case, he needs to be healthy. You had asked the question about how we feel about McDaniel possibly keeping his job.
Yeah.
And I don't think so. I'm sorry. He's going to have to still, I'm going to double down and say he still has to go to the playoffs and figure out a way to get one win and maybe more, because at the end of the day, he's proven nothing so far. Of our five victories so far, 4 of those teams have been officially eliminated. Okay, you're talking about the Falcons, the Commanders, the Jets twice. They've been eliminated, and the Saints. All those teams are gone. Buffalo's the only respectable win, and they're not even guaranteed a playoff spot either. So McDaniel has done what he needed to do, but unfortunately, you are what your record is, and you are in the position you are based on what you have or have not done during the season. And here we are, 6-7, and he just needs to see this through, get into the playoffs, figure out how, and take it from there. Otherwise, I am not impressed by making a late run because of your lack of getting this done early on in the year to getting us back into this playoff hunt now. He has to see it all the way through, in my opinion.
I agree. Because look, I always take a look. I get criticized for taking the bigger picture here. Like I said last show, the dial keeps pointing back to where it's always been, right in the center. And to me, that's not good enough. And I like what they've been doing this last game, but there's a question to be asked. Why the heck is it taking us to go 2-6 and 2-7 to get here? Why don't you see who your quarterback is? And why did it take Tyreek Hill's injury to make you forced to play like this? And I go back. It went to the beginning. He made a mistake of how he built this team and how he wanted Tua to look. Because, again, what did they do? He put all his coins on Tua Tagovailoa because his job, in fair, he was hired because of that to coach Tua, not the Dolphins. He did. He built an offense for that one half a season or whatever that was, and it worked. But it wasn't sustainable, and you can't win in December and January that kind of football. And now he's got Tua, who's regressed, and you see what he doesn't have when he doesn't have guys that gravity of separation where he can just dart things to wide open guys and he's more comfortable getting the ball out because there's 3-4 yard windows. Now the windows are closing. You can't make this mistake because I promise you we're going to be this time next year 6-7, 5-7. Yeah. 7-7, whatever you want. We are capped with this team. The ceiling, my head is hitting the ceiling and it hurts because it's been hit already. So where are you going? I think I want to stay positive because it is fun to win 34-10. It is fun to win 4 in a row. But why did you go 2-6? You lost your best player and you lost the best player in your offense, and you got better because the style, the personnel you have fits this more. Why wasn't this synchronized from the beginning? This just tells me organizationally everything wasn't aligned, and now you're realizing what you have at the quarterback position, and that's what got you hired. But my friend, it's what's going to get you fired as well. You guys agree with that point, Sammy?
Yeah, basically, nothing much has changed. It's like we said. But to be fair, we said why we need to. We talked about it a couple of times about it. What do we need to see from Mike Daniel to basically, give him a chance. And basically, the things that we expected a couple of weeks ago said he needs to do this, this, and this to save his job. He has kind of done that. He has kind of done it. Today, it wasn't it was a Lambeau Field, but he won in cold weather. If he finds a way to go to Pittsburgh and win next week, running the ball, he's done everything we said he needed to do to save his job. So I for one, I do believe that we have to turn.
But is it a new Mike McDaniel then? Is he ready to move off the quarterback and play this style with A-Chain, the running back, the offensive line, his best players? Invest in that and the defense.
To be fair,
McDaniel, or is it?
That's not only a Mike McDaniel decision. That's a Miami Dolphins decision. They have to come to the sense of the
team, though. But he's the coach of the team.
Yeah, but what he's gonna do? He's gonna go to Ross. Either you get rid of Tua or fire me. He's not gonna do that.
No. But is he gonna realize? Well, I think he's. Is it? My point is, Lou, Sam, whoever, Jason. I don't know if he's still there. This has to be the new for Mike to work in this league. This formula has to be how Mike McDaniel builds his teams. The quarterback play has to be better, regardless if it's a gap, a bridge year next year with Tua. This is the formula, and we haven't seen him down and how he performs. Is this the new Mike McDaniel, or are you getting fooled again? That's my question. Is it fool's gold? Jason, you can hop in. You haven't spoken in a while.
George, I mean, guys, Mike McDaniel was hired not as a quarterback whisperer, but as a running game guru.
Yes.
So this is what he needs to do. And the fact that he helped Tua with a perfect scenario in 2023, that's all well and good, but you got to stick to what's working. And like the microcosm of his problem, McDaniel, is sometimes he deviates from what is working in a game. In a month, you got to not deviate. You got to continue this ground prowess, 30-plus rushes. You know, look at what this team has been doing the last month's worth of games on the ground. You got to keep it going. You'd be a fool to not. And obviously, as Lou mentioned, let's see what happens with Achane and the injury. But this is the right game to have Jalen Wright have his best game as a pro. Because if he has to step in and, you know, be some sort of a bell cow power back, I know he's a bit of a different runner than Achane, but you can't rely on Tua throwing 30, 35 times. He's only done that like twice all year, and you got to stick to this ground game.
Yeah. Sammy, I know you got to head out. I'll let you head out real quick. You got any final thoughts before you head out?
No, basically, you know, a win is a win. As every of the last 4 weeks, the Dolphins find a way to win. And you know, the Dolphins are doing the things that we needed to see from them to have a chance. So if they can do what they did today in Pittsburgh next Monday night, they win the game. They have to run the ball, play defense, and find a way to be mentally strong in not the best weather. And you know that's the hard part for Tua and the Dolphins. You know, but sometimes it's the mental thing that either soft label when it comes to the weather. So we have to wait and see. So guys, enjoy the win. Hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday on Feast TV, not this Tuesday, not Thursday after, to celebrate a Dolphins win. So,
all right, take care, Sammy. Thank you, brother.
Later.
Yeah. Later, Sammy.
Quickly, you know, Sammy, Jason, we talked about Mike and saving his job and all that stuff. To me, I think the biggest factor that's going to be here is what do they believe about Tua? I think that's the biggest factor in how connected he is with Mike and how much do they believe Mike has changed here. I think that's what they got to figure out, right? Okay, he came in, like you said, Jason, as the offensive run guru. Are we rehiring him in a sense, okay, you did the Tua experiment, that's over, now get in your bag. I mean, that's the only way I see this is maybe you have something here. And I know for a fact that Ross is worried that the Dan Campbell situation, that this guy's going to have good on the second stop, but be better in the second stop, and he doesn't want to do that. But hell, you got to get a second chance first, right? Like, you know, does that worry you guys? Do you think Lou, Mike can reinvent himself here? What you see, or you think it's more fool's gold? We'll be sitting here again, you know, the same place.
I don't think so. I mean, we're 4 years into this. I give him credit, and I will say this: I've been a detractor, no doubt. those guys in the locker room are fighting for him, man. They're having fun. They're playing, and it's made it joyful for us, to see results like this.
Absolutely.
Jason saw that live today. I mean, a 34-10 thrashing against a rival who, we all can't stand. That's fun, right? And those guys are playing for him, so give him credit for that. But unfortunately, when it comes time to make the big decisions at the end of the game, he isn't able to get it done more often than not. And to your point, what you just said, George, how is this going to look when we're behind? And unfortunately, I haven't seen that go well either. And I was at the playoff game in Kansas City where it was a 17-7 game. And he was, in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left, and he's, walking up and taking the play clock down to 10 seconds. And that's always been the case. There's no hurry up offense. There's no game plan. He's got a, tough time getting the plays in, the halftime adjustments. And ultimately, he has to be judged what he does in the big moments. And when the division was on the line 2 years ago against Buffalo at home, he didn't get it done. When it came time to make that playoff run, that didn't happen either. So what can you do in big down to? And he just has, again, come up small in those moments.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. It's to me, it's not, and I said it, right? It's not, Mike, these guys like Mike. They like playing for him. They like their situations too. Like they like playing in Miami. They like their elevated situations. They're not quitting on Mike. I just think it's other stuff than that. Does he have the fabric? But I got to give him credit. If he commits to this style, because, man, when I see some of these run concepts and misdirection he does, and it's a beautiful thing. And when you have a player like A-Chain, that's a beautiful thing. And if he sticks to that, the defense, man, the defense is playing the young guys. I saw Jordan Phillips. You can't try to move this guy off the ball. You can't move him a half an inch off the ball. He's so strong. Kenneth Grant, Sealer sacks today. Mika Fitzpatrick's playing now at a Pro Bowl level. Rasul Douglas, the young players. And I want to ask Jason, some of the young players today, did you notice the defensive tackles and also, Zeke Biggers, but also Jonah Savinaya? Did you notice him today getting onto that second level in person, or was it hard for you to kind of watch all that?
It was hard for me to watch, offensive line getting to the second level and so on and so forth. It's a lot easier on TV with the broadcast camera. But I did see Jordan Phillips in the mix a lot.
Yes.
He is a load. Listen, I know everyone loves stats. I love stats. Throw out stats with Jordan Phillips, okay? Because he is a presence on that line. And he is like a lean, big lineman. You know what I mean? So he could move.
Huge.
He's huge and athletic, and his leverage is phenomenal. And he's so darn young that this guy is going to be signing a second contract at 24, So I think he's a player that you already got to think long-term for to have as a staple on your defensive line. He's interchangeable on that line, and you could see him. You could see his presence. That is for sure. And they are gelling. Kenneth Grant, Sealer, with Phillips and with Biggers. I'm thrilled that Biggers is getting more in the mix as well. But Phillips, I definitely noticed today, for sure.
Yeah. Any young guys you notice? Man, I gotta give something to Jonah, man. He took a lot of criticism. I always liked what I saw in college. And with the young guys, we're seeing more now. Look, there's still some growing pains, especially in the pass pro. But now you're seeing with this style, they brought him in to be a run-blocking offensive lineman and move him inside the guard. You're seeing now a little bit more you saw in college, but he's gotten better, and he's stuck in there, man, Lou. Like, the rookie class, there's not special players in there. But I said this during before the season, this is even for a new GM, nice little foundation draft. You rebuilt the defensive tackle position, and also you might have got a starting offensive line out of this, Lou.
No, yeah, he looked great. Look, I was questionable with the pick for Savinaya. We traded to get him, and the fact that he had to switch from the right side to the left side. So there was a lot of things there that I didn't like. But to his credit, he stuck with it, and similar to what Chop did last year, started slow and is finishing well. So you got to love about that. And back to the defense side of the football, you got to give Anthony Weaver credit here. I mean, this guy really, he had a depleted secondary to start the year from losing, Ramsey and getting Minka, 2 different positions. Then you get Artie Burns going down, Kader Kohu going down, brand new positions at a lot of spots. And he is, taking this bad start at the beginning of the year and has this unit playing top notch. And so my hat's off to him as well.
Yeah. Let's hear a quick comment here from Tua Tagovailoa on the cold today, because I know it's been a big subject, the cold with Tua. Let me pop this up on the screen here. Tua Tagovailoa talking about. Here we go. Not much. Let's go to this, talking about the running game with Tua.
About the week of practice, being able to get looks, and then if they didn't get a certain look, they'll go and get it by themselves. They'll talk about that. They'll communicate through that, and that's how the running game goes. And then you add on top of that, Devon, Ollie. And you also had Jay Wright, who had a phenomenal game as well today. I think those meshing up.
And here's the quick cold weather one. Sorry, I didn't have it.
I felt good to knowing what makes the run game go. It's those guys up front. It's the O-line. It's their communication, their conviction throughout the week of practice. Yeah, I felt good. But it's football. Whether it's hot, whether it's cold, you got to go out there and you got to play.
Well, short and sweet from Tua. Again, I don't know. Did I ask you, Jason, about what you saw from Tua today out there in the field? I think I did. But did you know anything, like physically, anything wrong? Like when you looked at him, how did he look physically to you? Is he smaller than usual, or was he a little bigger? Like how did he? When you put your eyes on him, how did he look?
I don't think he looks smaller or any physical detriment to him. I didn't analyze his mechanics today, you know what I mean? But,
Right.
Tua's, I don't think he is 100%. And I think that's just throughout the injury history and the tentativeness from the concussion history. I don't think he uncorked it for a really deep pass today. It wasn't needed. So, he did a bare minimum of what a quarterback should do in this type of a game. I don't think he was tested, But look, it's funny to give a shout out to Ghost of Adam Gase. We were talking. I got a chance to see him, Bobby Shouse from the dive bar, and right before the team came out, Ghost was like, if I see a hand warmer on Tua, I'm not going to be happy. Or I'm paraphrasing there. And then right away, Ghost goes like, no hand warmer, short sleeves, we're back. And so you got to like that toughness, but, or you didn't want to see him in long sleeves, a hand warmer, and blowing on his hands constantly. Wasn't doing that. But as I mentioned, it was a very tolerable 40-some-odd degrees. There was, and I mentioned earlier, not having any wind or precipitation in December in New York, New Jersey area is like a godsend. There was no wind. And if there is some wind in that stadium particularly, it is a swirling, annoying wind. It's a biting wind. And that wasn't the factor today. But look, is Tua going to be a physically, dominating quarterback at any point from this point on in his career? No. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're seeing an old 27-year-old quarterback with the injuries, and he's tough as hell.
But before I forget, there was two plays that actually bothered me. Nothing to do with Tua, but it bothered me with Mike McDaniel. As the second quarter was coming to an end, he elected to throw a pass with their heels on their own goal line that almost could have been overturned for a behind the line of scrimmage fumble.
That is on Tua. It was a bad play call.
That's the play call was
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Sure, it was on Tua for not maybe delivering. Why not just run the ball? Like, why not just run the ball? And
Again,
on the same token, in the third quarter, he called a handoff or a run, I should say, to Ollie Gordon, but it was a pitch back. Like, why are you using these stupid ball schemes when you're up by that? And one turnover could make it a 2-possession game and maybe give a team life. Just if you're going to run the ball, stop with these little tosses or little ball tricks and just put the ball in the breadbasket of the runner. And luckily, they recovered their own fumble.
Lou said it best. It's the second and third quarter. He's such a Jekyll and Hyde coach. Like, he has some brilliant moments, and in the same game, you wonder what he's doing, right? Like, you said it best, Lou. That second and third quarter, man, was, he was doing some things that, man, are you actually going to let this team back in the game? Because it's like the formula is simple. You see it, right? And that's the thing you talk about with McDaniel. Like, he's got to win a playoff game because of these ups and downs.
It has to do with adjustments. I mean, the fact that, look, we won the toss, and instead of deferring, which is the right thing to do on the road, he took the ball first. He had a game plan, and it worked. I mean, it worked completely. I mean, he wanted to come out with the ball and score and say, all right, you're up, Jets. So that came out well. But then after that, he doesn't make the adjustments, and he slows down, and he plays a conservative game plan that, quite frankly, almost cost against the Saints and cost us at Carolina. So these are things that I've not gotten better and improved when it comes to these aspects of the game and his coaching style 4 years in. And again, the results thus far, 0 playoff wins. So that's why it doesn't change the needle for me. And the other thing I'll say is that, and I mentioned it a couple of post-game shows ago when I was on with you guys, look, the Bills are a fringe team to make the playoffs at this point. They almost say, if the Bills don't make the playoffs, or if they go out in the first round, McDermott could possibly be let go.
And don't you think you'd want to shove it back to Buffalo? He'd want to come to. That's a guy who would take this job, I think.
Right. So are you going to miss out
on? You're breaking up, Lou. I couldn't hear you.
Feel that we can't let that happen. We gotta take it.
We missed out on Vrabel.
Yeah.
So we don't want to miss out another one. Let me mention the sponsor of the post-game show real quick. That is through Rescue Tech 305 IT Services. All your IT technical needs down here locally in Miami and South Florida. Call Mike at 305-504-TECH. That's 305-504-8324. Email him, Mike at rescuetech305.com. Visit the website, rescuetech305.com. Let him know the Fins Faithful podcast sent you. He's a big Dolphin fan. He'll take care of you. That's Rescue Tech 305 IT Services. Jason, we'll get out of here soon here. Let's talk. We're going to work on, again, we're going to give away the book. We're working on it. Still perfect. We got a good guest scheduled on Wednesday. We're still working on it, and it could be another giveaway. But please, guys, comment on the video, like it, get in the chat, be active. We're going to give one lucky listener, loyal listener for the holidays. Is Still Perfect book. Great book. Make sure you check it out. Dave was a great guest. Check out that episode. There's nobody better than Mrs. Dave Hyde. I'm telling you that. And I mean that. All right, fellas. Well, an hour and a half into this, we'll wrap it up here. 34-10. Let's get your final thoughts. We'll start with you, Jason. Final thoughts on today's game.
Ground and pound, play defense, special teams, tighten up a little bit on the coverage, snafu from today. But, you got to give it to Riley Patterson for his accuracy. Got to give it to Jake Bailey for having a good year. Defense has been playing phenomenal football the last 4 or 5 games. And I would love to see a healthy Achane on Monday night, get the groundwork with a mix of Jalen Wright, Ollie Gordon, and, let's get those tight ends more involved. Let's get Dulcich and let's get Waller heavily involved and create like almost an extension of the run game, especially when you're close to the goal line. Utilize those two in the red zone. And I think this team has a very good chance of winning the next 4 games. Let's see what happens with Pittsburgh, with winning 4 games and sneaking into the playoffs. Those are 2 different things, because A lot of help needs to happen. I know the percentages are low, but if they do even out the record to 7-7, we joked around a couple of weeks ago. This is very, very similar to 2021, and it is shaping up to be just that. And you got to hope that there isn't a horrible setback like that Tennessee Titan game was in 2021. And of course, obviously, there was a setback with the Titans 2023 as well. But you got to give it to McDaniel for the way he turned it around, the way the fellows are playing for him. And I give more credit to Anthony Weaver for doing what he's doing, especially, I mean, look, you got a secondary with all these makeshift veterans playing like they're perennial starters. You know, you lose Kader Kohu, you know, and you bring in several guys. One of them in Mike Hilton doesn't even crack the roster to begin with. And everyone's like, oh boy, the secondary is going to be terrible. And from a yardage standpoint, they've been phenomenal. From a turnover standpoint recently, phenomenal. So, yeah, let's ride the wave, everybody.
Yep. We're riding the wave. We're all in it, right? That's our slogan. We're all in. Lou, final thoughts.
Yeah, so piggyback off what Jason said, Dolchic's been a godsend today. Let's have some 2 tight end sets out there. You know, let's get creative. Still run the ball number 1, but have that open up other aspects, you know, to get us in favorable passing situations and get into the guys that could do something. And then, yeah, look, ultimately we need help, right? And so we got to hope the Broncos somehow lose today in Vegas. It's 14-7 right now, I think, at the half. So that would be a help, because that would obviously mean that Broncos slip behind the Patriots in the chase for the number 1 overall seed, which helps us going into week 18 at New England. Later on tonight, we probably want the Chiefs to beat the Texans, because that would also drop the Texans to a 6th loss. And
That's
just
so hot, you know.
We got to log everything up there. We got to make everything jumbled up there in the middle. And then tomorrow night is a huge one. We need the Eagles to go into LA and come out with a win, because, as you know, we lose the tiebreaker to the Chargers. So we got to have the Chargers start dropping games here down the stretch. So other than that, you know, let's keep this thing moving. It'd be a tremendous, it already is a tremendous story, but it'd be a tremendous story if this team could figure out a way to get to 500 with a win next week. That'll be awesome. I'll be there. We're looking forward to you know,
talk about that, Lou. Talk about that.
Yeah,
what's going on with that?
If you don't mind, yeah. So
go for it.
Yeah, we'll be there. We're gonna have a get together on Saturday night at Mike's Bar, which is right across the street from the Pirates Stadium, Pirates Ballpark. So if you're in the area, or if you're going to the game, definitely meet us out there. We're gonna have a raffle with some pretty cool items, and maybe a special guest appearance. Don't want to tease that yet officially, but we may. So yeah, you could jump on to 305sportstravel.com. It is free to attend, but we are asking people to RSVP so we can give that over to the people there. And then also, when you mentioned Pittsburgh, you know,
the terrible towels.
They have that waving around. But as mentioned early on, you know, the Dolphins actually started that with the horrible hanky. So if you come to our event, we're going to
nice, awesome
there. So you know, yeah, we want to have a response to the terrible towel, since we started that tradition.
That's awesome, man.
You know, we may be a very few amount of people in the stadium waving them, but hopefully we're waving them, resulting.
That's cool. Yeah. My final thoughts here is, I think this team is probably where they're supposed to be. We had the hot start, not the slow start, this recent winning streak. I think, to me, it's about where I thought they'd be. My question is this a new identity? Is this a new Mike McDaniel? Then you might have something. I don't know the answer to that yet. My gut tells me no. Let's see when they play from behind. Let's see how these weeks play out. I'm with you, Lou. It's fun to win, and heck, if we're going to cover this team, let's go for it, right? But we always look at the big picture. The big picture hasn't changed much for me. I know it hasn't for you either much, Lou. But yeah, so my biggest question is this have the Dolphins built an offensive identity that they're going to stick with? And it's this kind of a new Mike McDaniel, the way he kind of play calls and kind of builds off the run. It's been like that for the last, basically during the winning streak. So, but it's fun to win. It's fun to beat the Jets. They're 6-7. Started off 2-7, won 5 of the last 6, 4 in a row. Partly, there's a lot of variables. Partly due to the opponents, strength of opponent, but still, they're getting the victories. They're doing what they got to do. You see them doing things they didn't do in the beginning of this run, like creating turnovers on defense, interception the balls, running the football, and more importantly, the young players are getting better. It's looking like a solid base foundational draft that whoever's in charge can use these guys, especially when you get 3 guys who can contribute on the defensive line, the interior, and maybe starting left guard Jordan has been better. He's got work to do. I'm happy to see that. Not to mention Dante Trader Jr., Jason Sarni's guy, playing a lot more. And they had some nice finds. The tight end Dolcic, Rasul Douglas. So, I know this is Chris Greer curse. They're 4-0 without Greer and Phillips, but that's exciting to see. So we'll see. They're off to Pittsburgh. Let's see if they can make it 5 in a row and 6 out of 7. I appreciate whoever joined us. Frank the Tank, Finn Sammy, Finn Stanza, obviously Jason, Lou, and for myself. And again, follow us on social media, guys. When you rewatch this video, comment on the video, like it, subscribe. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. You will get one lucky listener. Jason and I will pick in kind of random, but we're going to pick some names that stand out for comments and in the chat or comments under the video. You'll get a free copy of Dave Hyde's book, Still Perfect, The Untold Story of the 1972 Miami Dolphins. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We should have a special guest on Wednesday. So stick with us. All right, for Jason, for Lou, for myself, we're out. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to the chat. We appreciate everybody in the chat. Fins up, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and take care. We're out.